So you see, you notice how I said it's the phony you versus the divine you. It's not the divine you versus the phony you. The divine you, our true self, like what does it got to fight? It doesn't need to do anything. It stands alone as truth. That's the best way to say it. But this fake self, this ego self, it's the one fighting, because it's nature. This whole game's a game of, you can say, shadows and light, right? Gotta have it. Gotta have it for the game. The ego self is more of a shadow side. The light hurts it, doesn't want the light, so it fights it. Comes up with all this justification, rationalization, and tries to say, no, but this is okay to do because, this is life, and it can come up with some really clever things. It's like trying to sell the light on its nonsense, basically. Why? Because the light's burning it. When we're doing stuff that we don't feel is right, there's a subtle burn. Some people don't feel it at all, but they will later because law of evolution. But those who do feel it, you can't tell yourself anything or get anyone else to tell you that something's okay when you know it's not okay. You just can't. Now, sometimes we have to do things. This is the paradox, because we're imperfect. There's no perfect human personality, not even Jesus. As long as you're in a human form, there's going to be imperfections. Now, some are more seasoned and matured, spiritually evolved than others. Hence, where the concept came from, master and guru, because relative to the ones who are not at the same level of evolution, for them it looks like, whoa, he's like totally awake. And then we assign all these magical qualities to them. And, whoa, they can do miracles, etc. But see, relative, if we're looking at, you can say, entities and beings on a causal world, they can create a whole world just like that. Boom. And this is how this world was created. So relative to them, the masters that we call masters here, they ain't nothing. Well, you see, because limitation, these physical bodies in this realm, they're limited. I think I went off a little. So we're talking, though, how to express, because something is in you that's more authentic. And this becomes the game. How to let that get expressed and shine through more often than the shadow side. But the shadow side, that's what I was talking about before I started talking about it more. Is that we have to give space for the shadow side too, to burn itself up, because it will. That's why our true self, it doesn't need to fight or do anything. It just sits here and just kind of waits for the shadow side to burn itself up, because it will. It's also part of the law. You can't, even the most unconscious person that you might think, that's on borrowed time. They'll say, no, but even they spent their whole life acting crazy, and they never cared about anybody, and they didn't matter. Okay, this life, universal life, is much larger than this little short stint that we do on this human dimension. There's other levels, and I've talked about this before, other planes. They're going to get their training. See, we can't see anything. Our perspective is so narrow here. We just can't see nothing, hardly. So that self will get burnt up. I like the movie Superman 2. Go see that. It's like, 30 years old or something? Maybe more. But I liked it. Richard Pryor was in it. Made it even better. And remember, Superman's weakness was kryptonite. And so the bad guys, they found some kryptonite, and they put it on Superman, and it corrupted him. Brought out his shadow side. I liked Richard Pryor because he was kind of like, he's kind of in between. He had a good heart, but he got with the wrong guys, so he's kind of going along with it, but not really, and it's a good character. It's kind of like Scarface. Remember him? He didn't want to kill the woman and child, and that he didn't want to bomb that car. That's why I like that movie so much. I like good bad guys. Yeah, I've always liked them. So Superman, he got all corrupted, And then he started using his powers to like destroy things, you know, and to get girls and stuff. Yeah, he had some game. But then his light nature started to wake up more. It kept bothering him, see? And then he crashed in this minefield, like crashed. And then the good Superman like came out of him. And then they started battling, see? It was a good depiction of like kind of what we're all going through. So you stay with that natural desire tendency. Some people don't even have this. So if you already have this tendency, good. You're like doing good. You want to be more your authentic self, but the shadow side seems very heavy. It's hard. This is why I made my other two channels, Transcending Shadows and Beyond the Alchemy, and Divine Femininity for girls. I don't like to talk about that channel too much because I don't want, you know, the guys going over there and making ruckus. But I made those channels because it talks about preserving your sexual energy and also lifestyle habits. That's what I talk about on Transcending Shadows, because it's all part of the same package. You have two levels, spiritual level and practical level. You can't just like, okay, I'm just going to meditate everything away. I'm just going to do yoga and meditate. I'm not going to do any introspection. I'm not going to look at diet. I'm not going to look at my sexual habits. It doesn't really exist. All right, you can do the non-dual thing. Nothing really exists. Doesn't matter. They did that at the Osho ashram in Pune, or Pune. After Osho died, it's just turned into a whole mess. You know, they have. I went there for like an hour several years ago. Pizza stores and hamburger stores, and then you can buy colored condoms at the you know, the little store there, because like, hey, we're here to enjoy life. Everything's cool. Yeah. So you want to look at both levels. You have the spiritual level, but also practical level. The two go hand in hand. You can't have a messy inside life, but yet you put on your yoga face, you know, like it doesn't match. And life will call you out sooner or later. So that's why I believe in full spectrum program, lifestyle. Then in time, when we're doing healthy, sane habits, that purges this shadow side. It purges these, this darkness, these bad habits. It starts to raise our frequency. As the frequency raises, here's this place. I got lost. I couldn't find what I'm looking for, but I found it. As the frequency raises, it's like you get a new computer chip. You know, you things that you used to do, you don't have any feeling to do now. Like it's just gone. You didn't need to renounce it and be some kind of renunciant. That's like holding the spring down. No, this happened organically. There's a guy in the comments that shared. This can also be used as an excuse and justification, so you gotta be careful. But he tried to quit weed for years, maybe decades. And then I don't remember exactly what happened, but now it's just effortless. He just doesn't want to do it anymore. Yeah, that's how you know you've like transcended something. Can I leave it like this? Is when it comes natural like that. So it's inevitable that this darkness is going to get transcended. There's no question about it. That's why I talked about having patience in a few videos back. You got to have patience. You can't do all this in like overnight. You can't just make a decision and say, yeah, I'm like going to be spiritual now. It's like that dirty ink bottle analogy. You pour out the bad ink, the dirty ink. You don't just throw water in it now and then now it's clean. No, you keep pouring and pouring the water, and then the water will be black that's coming out. You're flushing out, and then, you know, it's still going to be a little tainted. You know, it's like that. You just keep going. Patience is a huge thing. When you have patience for yourself, that's like an act of surrender. You're holding space for yourself. There's more space now for, you can say, the divine to enter you and do for you what you can't do for yourself, because the divine has to do this. You can't use some kind of special, mental programming or reprogramming to reprogram your spiritual nature. Spiritual nature is beyond programming, reprogramming. So how to activate that? Well, the divine who created this whole spiritual nature and game, it's going to activate that, but it takes a little time. So you do the best you can do, but you surrender the results in the timetable up to the universe. That's hard for people to accept and do. How can I make mistakes but yet be okay about it? Well, you get to where you see there's no choice. That's how. Like, what are you going to do? You can set out with the best intentions. Oh, I'm not going to get mad at my mom, whatever, my wife or my kids. You can't control it. You can be aware, you can be as conscious as you can try to raise your frequency via good lifestyle habits. That will help get a higher CPU, so that then these old kind of, egoic, arrogant tendencies are less. You can work on it like that, but again, ink bottle analogy, you can't just make it all go away, so you hold space for yourself. And if you make a mistake, you make amends somehow. And that's what you do. And you just keep doing that and just relax about it, You have forever. I was in an ashram once, and somebody was arguing with this person about enlightenment, and he says, man, what difference does it make? We got forever, I mean, that's true. That can be, it depends how you say it and when you say it. It can be a very good thing to say, or it can be justification. That's why introspection, we have to discern and see. People leave comments a lot. They say, yeah, you say that, but what about this, I'm like, bro, I can't say everything. But I mean, yeah, I agree. Okay, good. Yeah, what else can I say? All right, have a good day.